Hi campers, this is Darren with My RV Works, and today we're heading out to Salt Creek Campground, which is at Camp Hayden. If you're a World War II buff, they've got some nice little World War II type embankments into the mound there, where they had 45-foot long guns that were shooting things. Woo! Anyway, we're out here. If you take the road all the way to the end, it takes you out to Nia Bay, which is the most northwestern point of the United States, continental United States, that is. We got a call, emergency kind of call. We did have to rearrange our schedule a little bit to fit this guy in. He set up camp, 2 of his slide rooms went out, the 3rd one did not. It started to go out, wants to go out, but he heard a clunking sound, and then there was nothing. So depends on if you're an optimist or a pessimist, if the room's half in or half out, but it's broke and it's stuck, and the word is they cannot use their kitchen. So we're heading out this way on an emergency type basis to help these folks out. And I wanted to take you along because it might be a situation where you're setting up camp and your slide room breaks. And what would Darren do? How are you going to get these slide rooms out so you can use your kitchen? So there's a setup. That's what we're doing, taking you along for the journey. The goal is to get the slide room out, and then once the slide room's out, then we'll assess and determine if we need to order some parts or whatnot. So, okay, we have arrived. If you took that road there to the left, you'll go to the World War II era bunkers. If I got time at the end of the video, I'll drive up there. I've walked all up in there. I know my trailer will fit, but show you some of that. Across the way there is Canada A. Hey Canada. Oh Canada. Okay, well we can't turn left there. So this is a really nice campground if you're out this way. It's one of my favorites. You got your playground there on the right, and you got a couple different loops here. We're going over into the trees. So we are gonna make this turn, and we've got a beautiful day to work on slide rooms today. I couldn't think of a more prettier, better day to work on a slide room. So we're going to get in here, we're going to figure out what's wrong with this thing, and that's what I want to bring you along on so that you can kind of learn from me as we go through this to get this slide room fixed. So here we go, let's get busy. Okay, this type of slide room is the Lippert rack and pinion style, and a lot of times what we see is these teeth in here will break. Okay, now on this side I don't see any broken teeth. This is a part that I do stock in my service trailer. There's a 15 tooth and an 18 tooth, so you need to make sure you count the teeth. They have a drive shaft that runs over to the other side. The drive shaft is square, so you can take a crescent wrench or channel lock or something and rotate your slide room if you really need to, and we'll be doing that here in just a few minutes. Let's go to the other side. The other side is going to have the motor, and it's going to have a linear actuator. So let me show you that side. But on this side, we have it's this drive shaft that I'm touching that's fed from the other side that's turning this gear on this rack. Okay, so let's go to the other side and we'll look at that side, and then we'll energize it and see if we can determine what's wrong here. Okay, we are now on the other side, and here's the other gear pack and the rack. Now this is the actuator. Let me bring you inside here. When you have an RV and you have slide rooms back to back, what I don't want you to do is get confused. So right here we have the back of the slide room opposite us. Okay, here's the wires. And then over here is the one that we're going to be working on, and his motor is down on that side. So give you a little orientation. We're right here, and as soon as we go in under the underbelly, oh look, there's some wires, here's a motor, must be the slide room. Not necessarily. We need to go to the other side because it's this one right here that we're following. Okay, so we're going to go to the other side, and we're going to pick up on that motor, and we're going to energize that motor with our jump box and see if we can find what's wrong here. Okay, now without getting too far down the trail, let me get the camera up in there and show you what we're looking at here. You can see how the gear pack, the speed reducer gear, has basically separated itself between the body and the cover. So I'm pretty sure this thing's shot. Okay, let me give you a pan out of where we are. So here we have the motor, speed reducer, gearbox, if you will. And another thing I noticed, let's see here, is it's all loose with those bolts right here. So it's almost like this has been going on for a while. So it's a good thing we're out here to fix this. So we know we can't fix it this way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to fix it with manual turning of the square drive shaft on the other side. So and then once we get the slide room out, the customer will be happy, then we can come back and try to fix this, okay? So let's go back to the other side, set up shop, and get this slide room open for them. Okay, so let's do a little show and tell since we're under here. First thing I want to do, if I can find my can, I'm using this Power Lube, CRC Power Lube. It's got PTFE, which is basically Teflon. And that's what I want to spray this with. Okay, because we're going to need to get some work done on this thing, and it might help if it was lubricated a little bit. Let that work for a little bit and let it drip all over us. Anyway, okay. One of the things I want to point out here, we know that the drive shaft is square. We've talked about all the different parts. I want to talk about this bolt right here. This is a very important bolt. That bolt is supposed to be a grade 3 bolt. Think of it as a fuse, okay? Now, I can look at the marks on this thing. I can tell you it's either a grade 8 or a grade 9. That might be what caused the gearbox to destroy itself, okay? This bolt right here is supposed to be the thing that breaks. It's the weak link in the chain on the drive shaft here. I don't want to see anything more than a grade 3 right here. Every time I've ever replaced one of these things with the broken teeth, I look right here, it's always not a grade 3. So the slide room's been having problems for a while, and the bolt broke, telling you, hey, there's something wrong with me, I'm buying it up. Oh, well, let's just go down to the hardware store, put a grade 5, 8, 9 bolt in there. Grade 3 right there. It's like a fuse. Talked about the difference between a 15 tooth and an 18 tooth gear pack. Make sure you count your teeth if you break these. Pretty easy to replace these 2 bolts here. You do need to jack this whole thing up to get all the pressure off, and you bolt it right in. Not a big deal, but if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a gear pack and the RV shop doesn't have one, it's kind of an inconvenience for you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and replace this bolt, and then using these things right here, you can see how it's moving already, okay? But the other thing I need to do, I don't know if you see it in the camera or not, I'll move you in a minute, but we got to take this whole linear actuator, we have to disassemble it from this end where the bolts are, get it out of the equation so I can have the slide room to myself. We're going to loosen this, okay? Because we want to get that out of the way. This side's nylon, so it's a little harder to turn. So now, with that out, I'm able to move this shaft without this interfering with it. Okay, so let me reposition myself and get over on this shaft over here, and we'll turn that. We got that loose. I'm in position. Let's see which way we got to go with this thing. It's going to want to fall on me. Okay. It won't fall far. Let's see if I can stretch out. We'll go with the Okay. Now that we have that out all the way, I'm going to check with the customer to make sure the slide room's out as far as it'll go. And we need to lubricate a little bit more, which I'll do now, since it all came to me out this way. There you go. Okay. And then we'll take this actuator out. Get a new one. Okay, folks, well, as you see here, we've got the slide room out. It's out as far as it'll go. And what we've done is we've given the customer the option. We've got the slide room out. That was the concern, is getting the slide room out. The rest of it is taking that linear actuator out. There's just a couple bolts and screws and things like that. Customer is more than capable of doing those things. So we gave the customer the option. We gave them some tips and tricks and some best practices to fix those things. And from here, we're going to turn it over to the customer and let the customer make those repairs. And what that's going to do is it's going to save them a lot on the repair bill. And we love doing that every opportunity we can. If they're not able to do that, we're more than happy to do it, but you know, the meter's running. So at this point, we're going to stop, and if the customer does get stuck, they'll certainly be contacting us to help them out. But I really believe the customer's gonna be able to get this fixed. And we've helped them identify the part numbers that they need and some tips and tricks and things like that. So I think what we'll do is we'll wrap everything up, grab my tools, throw them in the truck, and then if you hang with me a little bit longer, we'll take you up to the gun embankments. They're kind of exciting, so stay tuned for that. Okay, bonus feature, as promised, we're heading up to the bunker, but just kind of wanted to give you a panorama of the strait here with Canada on the other side. And I don't know if you can see down there, maybe a fence pulling away, but you see the waves lapping. So beautiful. Okay, we're on our way up to the bunkers. Okay, as promised, we're bringing you up to the bunkers. I just got stopped by 2 customers as I'm leaving. They saw the truck. All right, here we are. Now imagine this place without any trees or anything. So this is the backside. Okay, we're gonna, I'm gonna drive through this, drive along the front, and then I'll park and I'll show you the interpretation sign of this. And these guns would have been huge. There's even a picture. I'll show you how big the projectiles were that they were shooting. This circular thing on the ground is where the turret was. And yeah, let me show you these things real quick. That's the projectiles that this thing would shoot, you know. Pretty crazy. Okay, so we're basically up above where we were on the job, and we're gonna drive along to the other side. We just washed the truck, so it looks really pretty, and I'll give you a tour of the trailer when I clean up the inside, but that is a mobile shop right there. We've got tools and inventory about as equipped as you would find a fully equipped RV shop. We don't do body work or engine work, but anyway, we'll give you a tour on that later. But I just wanted to show you these bunkers because it's kind of cool and exciting. And there's lots more to discover here if you're into this kind of stuff. So now that we're out of the sun, we've got those projectiles. This tunnel here goes all the way to the other side, and now it's dark, you can't see. I do have a flashlight. It's not even focusing. It doesn't know what the focus. There we go. Oh, cool. So yeah, you can see up on the roof. Focus, please. Please focus. Right there. Please. It was focused and now it's not. Ah. Anyway, my point is the guys would sleep in that tunnel, and that's where they had their food, and it was refrigerated and heated and humidity controlled. I believe over on this side, now my flashlight's gonna strobe. Okay, so I don't know what this room was, but it's cool, and maybe a generator perhaps, because there's like a concrete pad here, and you can see these little posts that are sticking up, little I-beams on the wall. So if you're into this kind of stuff, folks, hello. This whole region is riddled with these, gun embankments and things like that. So if you're interested, check out Fort Flagler, Fort Worden, and Fort Casey. And those have large earthworks, big concrete earthworks. And yeah, I'm taking it for a walk here. But if you check out this area, those places have large earthworks where you can still climb around. The one on Fort Casey is huge, and they've done a really good job doing interpretation. It's like as they get money, they'll rebuild part of it and paint it like it would have been back in the day. They'll take pictures, etc. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to do here. Let me take a picture of the interpretation sign. If you're really into this kind of stuff and you've hung with me this long, the least I could do is take a picture of the sign that tells you what this place was. So let me go do that real quick. But to finish my thought, check this place out. The one on Fort Casey has the, I can walk and talk. The one on Fort Casey has one of these retractable guns that would go back down under the earth so you wouldn't see it. So it's worth a trip just to come out here and see this kind of stuff. So where I'm headed now is this sign here. Right into the sun. There. So I'll pause. So here we have the different forts. Casey, Flagler, Warden. But yeah, you see these things, you can climb all over. Where's my finger? You can climb all over this kind of stuff, and it goes under the ground and everything. Here's some of the guns. Here's the one at Fort Casey, which is really cool. You can climb up in here and play like Star Wars and everything. It's really, really, really exciting. Let's show you the other side. Okay, hi. So here we have, if you want to freeze frame on that, I'll try to get it there. See if I can get a shot of that. All right, hopefully that's coming out if you're really this interested in it. But this talks about Camp Hayden. And you can get an idea, here's one, of the size of the weapons. This is where we're at right now. Look how big that thing is. Jeez. And then over here, you know, that's what it looked like before. So I'll pan out, and then we have all these trees that are here, and then over the side. And looks like there's some, I just saw a big wave splash that. So, okay, well, I don't know if you guys are into this as much as I am, but hope you enjoyed it.